Welcome to Top Shelf Men, I'm Reese. Today, we're going to talk about why you should avoid men who think like defective women. All of us are here on a red pill journey. Whether we arrived at the red pill through much pain and loss trying to understand how women can discard us so easily, or because we realized that everything pushed by mainstream society is a lie designed to make men weak and complacent, we are all on a journey. Suddenly, becoming red-pilled doesn't mean that we can suddenly change our broken belief systems and become the best version of ourselves overnight. It is a process that takes time, and usually it takes years to undo a lifetime of programming designed to make us servants to people who couldn't care less about us. That is why it is important for us to create our own pillars of support as men, our own group of men. You are the average of the people you choose to spend your time with. And with that in mind, part of the red pilling process is that you have to surround yourself with people who will push you to achieve more and be better for yourself. In those respects, you might have to drop some friends or acquaintances that reinforce the gynocentrisms that kept us weak, broken, and unsuccessful. In those respects, we also have to be careful of the new friends we make and avoid men that effectively think like defective girls. Over this summer, I met with some old college buddies of mine. I hadn't seen them in years. It was nice to see them and catch up with them. I used to spend a lot of time hanging out with these guys during my blue-pilled college years. The most eye-opening thing from meeting with them was how they still live their lives based on blue-pilled lies and how poorly it had served them compared to how my life has changed over the last few years after getting red-pilled. Both of them were grossly overweight, with sentiments that, well, the body just does what it does as you get older. They weren't interested in listening about how you have to cut out all the sugars, seed oils, and processed foods to lose weight and stay in shape. One of them started telling me about his months-long overseas travels. When I asked him about his experience with foreign women while he was traveling, he replied, well, I couldn't do anything because I went on that trip with my on and off again girlfriend. So this guy spent thousands of dollars going overseas to try to impress his, at the time, ex-girlfriend, who is still his ex-girlfriend, who uses him as a simp while she's banging other dudes. I'm sure his ex-girlfriend took some great solo Instagram pictures in exotic locations on his dime. Then, we caught up on more recent girlfriends. Both of them had none, but they were holding out for prospects that had them as beta orbiters, and they were aware of this. They were aware that these girls were seeing other guys, but they were okay being, strung along because they would catch up with this girl and see if she could make time for them to hang out. Then, when I shared some of my stories, one of them low-key said, oh, dating a 20-year-old makes me creepy, and that he preferred mature women. But he wasn't too happy when I replied, is that because more mature women settle for fat guys once they've been run through? And, of course, both of them were OnlyFans subscribers. This experience was really eye-opening as to how far I have come on my red pill process. I spent a lot of time with these two guys in my college years. These people were once an average of the beta I used to be, the beta that I grew out of. Now I am much more careful of who I even spend my leisure time with. Most of my friends now are business owners or guys that are slowly being red-pilled, making plans to get out of their 9-to-5 jobs, looking to get out of the West and build something for themselves. With being more selective of who I hang out with and share ideas with, I notice some tales of men who still think like defective females, and I always keep these acquaintances only at an arm's length. I never let them into my inner circle. But before I go into the most common tales men that think like defective women show, do me a favor, and if you are enjoying my content, you might as well leave a like and subscribe to help this channel grow and get the message out to more men on their red pilling journeys. The first thing I look for is how they talk. These are supposed men who say I feel instead of I think. These are males that reason emotionally before they process thoughts logically. In my experience, these men tend to be weasels with no real convictions. There are no truths or reality for these types of males. Their opinion will change based on the context of the information they are receiving. Again, they have no conviction to anything they say. They will also move the goalposts or bend reality in order to say things that they think make them sound virtuous or moral. In other words, they think like defective girls. Always keep males that regularly state things with "I feel" at an arm's length. The next type of feminized male to avoid is the type of male that uses gynocentric colloquialisms that are overused by feminists. These are wishy-washy buzzwords that females use to make themselves sound more moral. Some of these are improper uses of the word toxic, whatever blank phobe, or hate on whatever. These are males that are too afraid to offend anybody by simply stating that they don't like certain things. They use these words because they care more about not being offensive because they are afraid of being disagreeable. Words have meaning, and men mean what they say and do what they say. Words like toxic, whatever phobe, or whatever hate on are words that really mean nothing. They have no objective truth and are used by males to show they have no personality and will simply use trendy vocabulary. These males tend to have no spines and are sheep, and you can never expect them to take any action against the status quo. They are happy being plugged-in betas. They will be happy to use whatever made-up language that makes them feel morally superior. The next is the type of guy that likes to say they don't ascribe themselves to any particular religion, but they are spiritual. Unlike their female counterparts who believe in magical thinking because they don't want to be judged for being terrible women, the male version, in my experience, tends to be guys who don't want to be judged for not accomplishing anything. These types of guys are content with playing video games, getting drunk or high, working their dead-end 9-to-5 job. But they don't want to seem unaccomplished, so they claim they are spiritual and will usually have some sort of chick-like magical beliefs. For the next type, I call them assholes. Actually, Rich Cooper from Entrepreneurs in Cars was the one that coined that term, but it applies. So assholes are the type of guy that always ask for your advice and opinion, but they never take it. As men, when we hear problems, we want to solve them. Women, on the other hand, care more about the process of talking and expressing themselves. As men, we care more about the solutions and the results. Assholes get more satisfaction about getting you out to hear their problems than taking actions to resolve them. So they will constantly ask you for advice, yet never take it, only to follow up with more talking after not taking your advice. These guys are like women because they value the process of communicating instead of action and results. The same way women want to talk for hours and aren't really interested in hearing our solutions, the process of talking satisfies them more than taking action and resolving their problems. Back when I was a blue-pilled beta, I used to have some of these traits as well. So I'm not particularly shitting on these guys. Guys that show these traits are not particularly bad, but they will not offer you anything that will help you on your personal journey of becoming the best version of yourself. So thank you for listening to the end. If you made it this far, you might as well subscribe for more Top Shelf Men content. So what other traits do you notice in plugged-in betas you encounter? Leave a comment below and let us know. So this is Reese. See you next video, guys.